All right, guys, we're live.
Awesome. Am I good to start presenting?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right.
Sweet.
So first off, we have everyone. If you could refresh your scene. First presenter is Cooper from DeFi Rate, and Cooper is going to talk about all things DeFi. So Cooper, go ahead and take it away whenever you're ready.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for having me out here. As you said, my name is Cooper. I'm presenting on behalf of DeFi Rate. We're a blog for all things DeFi. The main focus that we want to do is present DeFi in a way that non-technical users can understand. So we do go deep into some of the inner workings in our news articles, but for the most part, we try and keep it pretty high level. Our goal is to allow you to follow the trends without having a sophisticated knowledge of how Solidity works or anything under the hood of Ethereum. So long as you know how to use MetaMask, and so long as you know about some basic platforms, there's a lot of information for you to take away here. The biggest thing that we have competitively within the DeFi space is our lending rates. So we really try and provide a holistic overview on how rates are changing in the industry. As you can see here, we have some graphs that show you how lending rates are changing on different platforms like Aave, DYDX, Compound, etc., USDC over here. And if we go over to the actual lending rate site here, we can see that most people come to our site to kind of check lending rates across a bunch of different platforms. We have a ton of different assets here, and the main point that we want to try and present is that if you have idle capital that you're looking to earn a return on, there's a lot of places to do that, and those rates are always changing. So hopefully this can be a good resource for you to stay up with where you can get the best rates, and then also trying to get an overview of what assets are supported on different platforms. The main thing that I lead as an editor of DeFi Rate is the news section. So you can see here that we cover a lot of different pieces. We're pretty active in those news articles. We have pretty much at least 1 to 2 articles every day. Only really very high level stuff, but as I'm sure all you know, there's a lot going on in DeFi. So we don't really have any days off, I guess, for lack of a better term. There's a ton going on, and we try and be on top of everything as soon as it launches. Just this past week, we saw Argent go live with their DeFi wallet, saw Uniswap V2 go live, DeFi track here, Uma launching their first synthetic token. And it's also important to note that outside of just DeFi, I'm super passionate about DAOs. I'm in Metacartel myself, and it's an intersection that I'm really excited about, specifically within DeFi. So definitely try and cover as much of the DAO activity as possible whenever it's a news story. So beyond DeFi, you can always look for some DAO-related, governance-related pieces as well. So as I said, lending rates is our first one. We also have some research reports which get a lot of love. These are both project-specific and sector overviews. This is going deeper into these projects and looking at their user growth, their revenue growth, just different metrics that don't really get reported much on a high level. We pull information directly on chain from this and try and provide analysis and insights that you wouldn't really be able to get elsewhere. We have a lot of interviews with prominent players in the space, so I like to try and do interviews with people when they have important news coming out. Some of our bigger ones with Kyber, and their Catalyst upgrade here, Q from Nexus, even gaming like Axie Infinity, Aave, et cetera, et cetera. And this is a good way for us to sort of give some color beyond what the actual news story is. So if you're ever looking for a deep dive on a project beyond what the news is, there's a good chance that we've covered it here on our site. Last thing I want to talk about is our in DeFi, there's obviously a lot of different ways that you can earn or put your capital to work. We're starting to build out a list of different tutorials to make passive income. And some of these are a little bit convoluted, I guess, for lack of a better term. You have to go slightly deeper than just knowing how to use a platform like Compound or Synthetics. So we basically put together some tutorials on how you can partake in liquidity incentives, where essentially you are locking in capital, in this case, SETH to ETH Uniswap tokens, and in exchange getting weekly inflation in SNX. So what we want to do is provide you as an end user with different opportunities to earn off of your capital beyond the basic things like just supplying and getting a basic interest rate in return. We have a couple cool resources that are getting a lot of traction beyond when they're actually posted. So as I said, if you're new to crypto or DeFi and looking to where to start, we have some resources like this, the top crypto Twitter accounts, just people who post a lot of great content on DeFi. I'm trying to give you a good overview of what you can follow and where you can go to actually stay up to date with a lot of things that are happening. You can see in top picks here, we have different sectors, and we list about 2 or 3 projects from each of these sectors that we'd recommend, as well as the reasons why we recommend them. Again, just for anyone who is missing out on the name, our name is DeFi Rate. This is our Twitter account. We're super active on here. I would actually say this is debatably the best place to follow us beyond our website. we're posting super frequently. We have a newsletter called This Week in DeFi where we recap all of the news that happened that week, as well as an article that goes deeper into all those sections. And then, beyond our articles, always just retweeting stuff from the industry that's important and stuff that we feel like you should know as someone that's involved in the space. So again, my name's Cooper. I'm the editor at DeFi Rate. And thank you guys so much for having me here.
Thank you, Cooper. Everyone, go ahead and give the clap emote for Cooper. I know we don't have sound, but so Cooper, how did you get involved in DeFi Rate?
Yeah, so I've been doing freelance writing for about 2 to 3 years in the space now. I work with a lot of early stage token startups, and I've been pretty active just trying to stay up with the trends and whatnot. I was approached to write for DeFi Rate super early on. So as you can see here, this Twitter account was made in July of 2019. I actually joined the team in August and quickly evolved from just being like a writer to someone who actually took a more forward role in directing the content, helping to orchestrate this Twitter account. And, from my perspective, I really loved the brand of being able to back DeFi with a trusted brand rather than just me doing it as a standalone, influencer, for lack of a better term, on my own Twitter account. So I put a lot of time and energy to making sure that we had a holistic place where people could not only come to Twitter, but also go back to our news articles for long periods of time in the future and hopefully get value out of those.
Gotcha. No, that's awesome. You seem like someone who is very busy and very motivated. You spoke about some of the other DAO projects that you're involved in. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Decentraland, but we have been progressing towards implementing a DAO for all of the community votes moving forward. Is there any project that has a DAO involved that you are very high on and like their model of doing things, or are you still kind of searching around for that perfect project?
Yeah, so there's kind of two sections to that. On the community front, Metacartel is the one that I'm most actively involved with on sort of a day-to-day basis. That's a great place for us to work with consumer-facing applications, just really anything that advances growth in the ecosystem. But beyond that, there's a really interesting trend in DeFi right now where a lot of projects are starting to start their own DAO. Off the top of my head, Kyber, Aave, Compound, UMA, basically all these projects are starting to implement some form of governance. So at DeFi Rate, we're actually taking a stance of being a protocol politician, which means that you can, as a user, delegate your stake to us, and we're going to go ahead and make those votes for those protocol. And we'd like to say that our coverage of these gives us a pretty good front row seat as to where these protocols should be heading. So, for example, we were lucky enough to have Compound delegate some tokens to us. We're actively talking with Aave team and some of the other projects, and really see that as a cool trend that's going to emerge in the next couple months for us to try and take advantage of.
That's great. So for DeFi Rate, is there any one aspect of the website that you think users can get the most help or the most information from, or is just the website as a whole great for cryptocurrency investors?
Yeah, so like I said in my presentation, the lending page is what we get the most visits from. This is like mainly for people who want to get a holistic overview on lending and try and get a picture. A lot of people pull from this site for their projects to aggregate information. I'd honestly say just like our Twitter is probably the best. We're super active on here, tweeting multiple times a day. We share every one of our articles on here. We retweet a bunch of stuff. So I'll be pretty frank that we don't try and I obviously hold a lot of tokens in crypto and I'm super active in investing, but we try not to talk about things from an investment perspective. It's largely saying, hey, this is the news going on. This is how the project is doing. Every now and then there's obviously some bullish sentiment in those articles, but we don't ever go out of our way to openly say, buy this token for X, Y, and Z reason.
Gotcha. No, that's all very understandable and respectful. So Cooper, before we let you go here, is there any project or anything that you're working on, whether it be DeFi or anything else that you would like to promote and tell the community about?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm actually leading a DAO right now called MetaClan. And this is an esports DAO where we're working with a bunch of crypto gamers to, basically just play some different crypto games and try and figure out the best ways to get involved with them. We just had a quest with Axie Infinity as our first one, where we did a breeding tournament, giving DAO members some Axies and in-game items to help play that game better. And we're actually in discussion with Sandbox now for our second quest. So if you're interested in crypto gaming, which I'm sure many people are, being involved with Decentraland, definitely come and join our Discord. We're talking to Sandbox right now for a second quest, and I'm fairly confident that we're going to be doing something with Decentraland in the near future as well. So would love to have anyone come and join us.
Yeah, that's all. That's great. Yeah, the crypto gaming stuff is awesome. I'm very involved in Axie. Right now I'm battling for a top 3 position in their 5th season. So I'll definitely be following along with the MetaClan stuff.
Bring it home, man.
But
Congrats.
Cooper, thank you so much for coming out. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out. Everyone, make sure that you follow Cooper on Twitter and MetaClan and DeFi Rate and all of these other projects that he's working on. But Cooper, thank you again. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks, Cooper.
All right, so next up we have Lauren from Micro Sponsors. So Lauren, whenever you're ready, go ahead and screen share your slides or whatever information you would like to put up here, and we'll get going. Cool. So a lot of the people in here have already joined the Micro Sponsors Discord channel. I noticed a lot of very, very talented builders from Decentraland. We tweeted out, Lauren, I think you tweeted out that you added a section specifically for Discord.
That's right.
And or for Decentraland, my apologies. And within maybe 15 or 20 minutes, I noticed some of our most
we're losing Anorak.
committed. And so for those, tell us a little bit about Micro Sponsors.
All right. Thank you so much, first of all. I'm Lauren. I am the founder of Micro Sponsors. I've been working on it for quite a while now. I'm a solo founder here. I got a grant from the 0x protocol last summer to start building it out. So we're built on top of the 0x protocol. And what it is a platform for you to tokenize and sell your time. And we are built as a decentralized exchange. So that means that when you tokenize your time and you exchange with your counterparty, you are exchanging tokens wallet to wallet. So what you are selling is an NFT that represents the time slot that you are selling. And what you're getting back is stable coins, or you can also add your own personal token or any custom token that you'd like to be paid in. And when you mint your time slot on our platform, it represents the digital content that you claimed. So you can go and say, okay, here's my Twitter feed. Here's my handle in this game or that game. Here's my content on an art site, so that you are kind of anchored with your identity to the platform and to our registry. Our registry is totally open source. All of the data is available for anyone to come along and build on top of as well. And we also use that to handle notifications so that when someone comes along and bids on your time slots, you get notifications. So far we have email notifications, but we're also working on Twitter notifications as well, so that all that communication can happen out in the open on Twitter. I think that'll bring an exciting aspect to it, because Twitter is super fun for a kind of like gamifying everything, and we've had some exciting ends to some of the auctions. Because everybody, as you know, your time is scarce, and the end of the auctions can get exciting. So yeah, be sure and sign up with your Twitter account if you want to get notifications that way. So because we built on top of the 0x protocol, we're basically like Craigslist with a payment rail built in. So auction bidding is free. And you don't need to register, so your buyers don't need to register at all. But I think it's going to be helpful long term for them to register, so that you know who you're dealing with. At the end of the auction, what happens is you specify a time and you say, okay, my auction is going to end at Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And so you're going to end up getting some like last minute bids. And then you have 8 hours from that moment to choose who won your auction. And you don't have to choose. Our platform does not force you to choose. I know that Mike was worried about this, that the platform would auto choose a high bid, and if it wasn't high enough, that he'd be selling his time for not enough. But our platform is different because what we're doing is we're connecting people, we're creating relationships with people, and so we don't want anybody to be forced into some kind of weird auction dynamic. So what happens at the end is you pick and you are in control of who wins your auction. And another reason for that is, you may be more interested in working on one project versus another project. So there's other things that might play into your auction that are may count more than the actual bid, the money bid in the auction. So yeah, it's totally open. It's totally up to you. You are in control of your auction. I really want to hear back from you guys because we just launched in the last 8 weeks, basically. So I want to work with you guys. I want to hear from you guys. Already, there's been a couple people really vocal in Discord about what they want. I stayed up late last night implementing profiles so that you guys have a nice profile page that you can share when you register. So yeah, so all you have to do is visit microsponsors.io, click register, and when you register, you'll automatically get a profile page. I think what I'm going to add is I'm going to add a category page for each game, so that people can come in and see quickly who is selling their time, so that you can kind of start to negotiate even before you mint your time slot. And then you can go from there. So then you can mint your time slot, run your auction, and we'll just add features as you guys want them. So I really want to work closely with the community. I want you to join our Discord. We have some tutorials on YouTube to walk you through getting registered, adding your personal token, and doing all the basic things that you need to do to be able to tokenize and sell your time, and really create like a marketplace around Decentraland and all the stuff that you're doing and make it easy. So I definitely want to hear back from everybody here. I want you to get signed up, and I want to hear if there's any sticky points, if there's anything that is hard for you, let me know. We're iterating rapidly, and pretty much the only governance on this project so far is yelling at me on Twitter. So it's very new, it's very small. We're just getting going, and you're going to have a lot of say in what happens with this thing. So yeah, that's it. And I definitely want this. I think that if anyone has signed up so far and they've taken a look at it, I want to hear back, even in this call. If people have questions or anything, just let me know.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Appreciate you taking the time to come out. I think a lot of people in Decentraland can benefit from using micro sponsors. I just recently signed up to the platform. I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and was checking it out. Lauren has added a specific thread or channel, I guess, for Decentraland. So you can go right in there and post some of your stuff up for auction there. But Lauren, as you mentioned, this is a very new project, a new platform. So was there any reason you decided to start it? Did you see a gap that needed filled in the industry, or was there an experience that prompted you to start this, or how did you come about creating micro sponsors?
Yeah, so one of the things that's really interesting to me about just Ethereum and crypto in general is this idea of user-owned networks. And so the long-term vision of micro sponsors is to kind of have it just be an open utility that acts as like an extension of the 0x protocol that's kind of just open and governed by the people that are using it. And so the long term, I really want to emphasize that, like, I want people to use it because I want them to own it and to play a really big part in not only like the ownership but also the governance of it. And so I kind of see this as like a micro sponsors as it is right now is like the first step towards that vision. And I feel like what I want to do is explore new business models for the web, because I think, you know, with Web 2.0 we saw all the like we've seen all the like the good parts and the bad parts of you know, kind of centralized companies, and now with crypto, with blockchain, with Ethereum, you know, we have this opportunity to reimagine all of these things from first principles. And you know, I think that's like a really important difference between what we're doing here and what has been done in the past. So that's pretty much the inspiration, is like just having worked in Web 2.0 for so long and seeing kind of the pitfalls with all of those business models and all the things that were going on there, and really trying to move it forward and you know, keep it low overhead in the beginning, and you know, try and see if we can keep it low overhead, then turn it over and decentralize it as much as possible.
Okay, that's great. So a little bit more of a technical question then. One of the users writes in the chat here, what happens if someone wins an auction, a bidder wins an auction, and the buyer fails, or the person that is selling their services fails to follow through with what they have promised? Is there any type of escrow service or anything to protect bidders from people kind of running off with their money?
Right. So right now, part of the reason we built the registry is so that you are always dealing with people that have anchored their presence on our platform to their public presence on Twitter. We had Mike add his LinkedIn yesterday, so that you always know that you're dealing with like a real person. So even though the buyer can be anonymous, the seller can never be anonymous. And so because we built it kind of like a Craigslist, this is kind of basically Craigslist with payment rails. It's peer-to-peer. So right now there's kind of like, it's more about like basically anchoring the sale to your reputation. And so you as the buyer have to look at the listings and go, okay, is this someone I know? Is this someone that I can see their history of like builds and understand who they are from a more holistic perspective of their activity across the web? What I want to do long term though is create a whole escrow service and even possibly a DAO. I was talking to Cooper last week about creating a DAO that is actually like maybe implements like something like Aragon Court to do like staking and you know, almost like insurance for this kind of thing. So that yeah, so we could do escrow, we could do court. There's a bunch of different models in there. It's again, it's up to the community, and I really want to emphasize that like this is an open field, and so if you want to make it yours and you want to see something built, then you know, participate and get involved.
Okay, awesome. So just one more question. Is there any type of user or service that you have noticed does particularly well on micro sponsors? Is there anyone that could really benefit from it, whether it be a writer, a consultant, some sort of a developer or designer? Is there anyone that you've noticed in a specific industry that's doing well on micro sponsors, or is it just kind of for everyone?
So right now I launched it and it's pretty general and kind of all over the place. So far we've had like newsletters do really well. But I do want to emphasize we're super early on, and I'm going to be adding more tools. So we have somebody, for example, from the 0x community he runs one of the big 0x dashboards. So he's building a whole basically kind of like his own version of Google Ads into his platform, where he gets to capture all of that value for like it's like a banner spot at the top of the dashboard. So we're going to be rolling out more and more creator tools. And basically, like, I have a roadmap in my, in my laptop that says, okay, I'm going to build this, I'm going to build this. So it's all different monetization tools. The priority of that, how those get built out, is going to be determined by who's using the platform. So if Decentraland users are vocal and they want to use the platform a lot, and you say to me, hey, like, this is missing, I need this, I need that, then that's what's going to happen, and that's going to get bumped up in that priority list. So it's pretty ad hoc at this point. And but mostly so far we've had like content creators that are crypto focused, and that's kind of how I imagine, I'm calling this like our alpha stage. So this is our alpha release. So yeah, it's been mostly like creators in the crypto space so far, but I would love to start bringing in obviously people from Decentraland and other games that are really the kind of like formational glue of these new communities.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lauren. I think that was fantastic. I mentioned in our talk before this, all of our little projects here, Polytope, micro sponsors, Decentraland, and I know DeFi Rate has been around a little bit longer, but all of us projects are still in our early stages, and we're all just kind of starting to get the legs under us and try to start really sprinting here. So I think a lot of the users that join micro sponsors will understand that it's still a work in progress, even though there is a platform right now for people to go in there and start to try and monetize their knowledge and, more importantly, their time. So Lauren, is there anything that you want to sign off with, any type of promo for micro sponsors or anything else that you're working on?
Yeah, sure. I will say this is like, visit microsponsors.io, click the green register button if you're a creator and you want to start tokenizing your time. We have some tutorials are available there. From there, you'll see all of our socials. We're most active on Twitter and in our Discord as well. And you'll find the links to all of that on our homepage. So thank you again so much for the opportunity to speak to everybody. And I really hope to hear from you in our Discord or over Twitter very soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming out. All right, everyone, make sure to join the Discord page. I'll have it posted on Twitter there. Lauren, thank you again for taking the time. We are now going to move on to Cameron from Polytope Space. Last but most certainly not least, Cameron and Polytope Space is a platform for people who build voxel .vox files and builds to monetize off of their stuff that they're creating, and also for people that don't have that skill set to go on there and purchase some of the items. It's quite similar to the platform in Decentraland that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with by this time, called MetaZone. We have some of the MetaZone guys here right now. But this is a platform that I really think could help the creators in the crypto voxel space, especially. I know it's a little bit different from the Decentraland designs, but I really encourage everyone to check out Polytope if you are involved in crypto voxels or any other type of project like Sandbox that uses voxel builds. So Cameron, go ahead and take it away whenever you're ready.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I'm Cameron from Polytope. Some of our items that have been made are here. So Polytope is about minting your 3D voxel items. So right now we support 16 by 16 by 16 voxels, and recently we added an infinite palette at the request of our users. And one of the barriers to sort of building in a lot of crypto places is the requirement to buy land. So we don't have that requirement. We like our minting fee total, including gas and all that, is less than $3 right now. And we have Magica Voxel import. We have an online editor that works with WebGL. And so, when you mint your item, it'll show up instantly on sites like OpenSea and Rarible and that sort of thing. So they're tradable. And then when someone buys your item, they have the ability to download the .vox file, and then they can import it into crypto voxels and stuff like that. They can use it elsewhere. I just have some stuff about metadata. So there's like 3 ways to do metadata. The first way is to store a token number on the blockchain, and then off-chain, another server provides the content when you ask for like token number 3. That's a little bit less secure because the server can change the data at will. A more secure way is to hash the content, put the hash on the blockchain for each token, and then the server has to provide content with a hash that matches the blockchain. This is what Polytope uses, because the third way, which is to put all your content on the blockchain, is kind of expensive at $1 per kilobyte at current gas prices and stuff. Yeah, but yeah. And recently we launched something called Polytope World, where you can create your art, voxel art, or import it, and then it'll show up in this. Right now, it's sort of like a live gallery world, and then the idea is that you're creating something in a virtual world, but then you can export it to a token that can then be traded on OpenSea and Rarible and stuff like that. So basically, it's like virtual worlds having real economic outputs. And I'm sure what Anorak mentioned with Decentraland is probably similar, or like crypto voxels wearables. So where to find us? Our site is polytope.space. We also have a Twitter. Let's see. A Twitter where we're most active. And let's check out the site a bit. So this is our sort of main view. But what's important is that these are all tokens that will show up on other sites like Rarible, etc. And these are all minted by someone and tradable. We have an editor where you can create your items in a Minecraft-like style, or you can import. And then when you're done with this, you can continue and mint the item, ERC 721, all that, and it'll show up everywhere. So I think this will be is a good way to sort of monetize your items that you're working on and sell them to other people and have them show up in worlds. Or you can treat it more like a sort of work of art, where it's not the exclusivity that's like exclusively having the item that's important, but it's the fact that you own it. Anyone can download it, but only you own it. So there's sort of 2 modes there. And then let's see, our most recent feature is Polytope World, where you can sort of explore like an interactive gallery of everything. And yeah.
Awesome. That looks great. So for the different metaverse projects and stuff that we're talking about, crypto voxels and sandbox and things like this, are you actively involved in any of those? Do you own land and develop in those worlds, or did you just see that there is a need for this service and start Polytope based off that?
Initially, I landed on crypto voxels, and I didn't have any land, but I wanted to have my own sort of stuff that I own that was made out of voxels because I'm a fan of voxels. So
Hmm.
that's sort of why I made this. But in our Discord, we have users who are active in crypto voxels, and I know someone, there was that bathroom in crypto voxels that got popular on Twitter, and some of our items showed up there, if anyone's heard of that.
Hmm. So, did you get your hands on any land yet to build in crypto voxels? Because we can certainly figure something out for one of those bigger users to lend you some land to start playing around with if you didn't get your hands on any yet.
No, I don't have any land. That would be
Yeah,
cool. I wonder what sort of
we'll set that up
integrations
for you after this.
come up.
Make sure that you get into crypto voxels there. So I know that this project is still very early. You started it in February of this year, correct?
Yeah.
So where do you see this project moving into the future? Are you planning to stick with just voxel builds, or would you like to um, kind of put some different categories up, or is voxels your lane and you're sticking in it?
Um, I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff that's unique to like this render that I built and that sort of thing. But I'm definitely interested in um, what other companies like Scent.cr are doing. They're
Mhm.
trying to incentivize creativity and like writing and reward that. So
Mhm.
I think like when like YouTube rewarded creators by paying them money for making videos, that sort of led to a Cambrian explosion of
Mhm.
like content. So I'd love to see the same for like writing or for voxel art.
Mhm. Have you been able to onboard some creators for the voxel stuff, or are you still just worrying about the website in itself and you're not trying to necessarily fill it with content and have um, purchases and sales so much as you are just worried about the actual website itself? Where are you at with the user onboarding process?
Um, right now we started. I really went live early May. Right now we have about 10
Okay.
users who've created items and about maybe I think 40 items. So we're definitely trying to onboard right now because the
Okay.
site is not um, the site isn't a working spot right now.
Hmm. Okay. That makes sense. Well, if you're not already in the Decentraland Discord or especially the Crypto Voxels Discord, um, you should definitely join in to the Decentraland one because I know that there's a lot of people who are both involved in Decentraland and Crypto Voxels. I think you'll really find some very quality content creators in those Discords and also people that are just very nice and sincere and willing to help you get this thing off the ground. I love the idea of it. Anything especially like MetaZone, anything to help populate these worlds is
Yeah.
something that the community really needs to get behind. So, for people that are in here, I highly encourage you to check out Polytope Space, especially if you're in crypto voxels. But other than that, Cameron, do you have any last sign off or anything that you'd like to promote, whether it be Polytope or any other projects you're working on?
Um, all I have to say is this is our URL, polytope.space, and please check us out. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for coming out. And thank you, Lauren and Cooper as well. It's all about building relationships with this stuff. I think that us being such a small community, the crypto NFT metaverse space, I think it's very important for all of us to kind of rally behind each other and do more of these types of meetups where all of us can benefit from the other project. You can benefit from our users joining your platforms, and these worlds can benefit from developing content, getting the services that they need through micro sponsors, and also making sure that you're taking care of your assets and your different cryptocurrencies, whether it be lending and borrowing and all that knowledge through DeFi rate. So thank you very much to all three of you for coming out. I think it went great. This is the first time that we've done the screen sharing thing for live video and audio. So I think it went well. I wasn't particularly watching the in-world set the entire time. But thank you so much. And then everyone, I would like to say that we're going to have a little after party for anyone that wants to stick around at DJ Rosa's set that's going on right now for the next 20 minutes. The location is 14100. So if you type in dash go to 14100, it'll teleport you right there. She does live music every weekend. So everyone that is here right now, if you got time and you want to stick around and listen to some music and check out the new dance moves and emotes, let's all go over to DJ Rosa's set. Cameron, Lauren, Cooper, thank you all so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Frankie.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Of course,
you
of course,
to Frankie and Mouse.
One thing I do want to say is I'm going to be interviewing, I believe, Mishael from, I think it's Sati today, and I'll have a little bit more information with Sugar Club later on today with that, but we're going to be doing that at -67, -114, and that'll be at 8 p.m. UTC.
Awesome. Yeah, we got a packed day. The more.
Oh yeah.
The more,
we got the round table tonight. The normal, the round table.
Yeah, it's always a good thing. It's
Yeah.
always a good thing that we start having this stuff pop up.
Yeah.
But Frankie, thank you so much for putting all the audio and stuff together. And
Sure,
House,
sure.
thank you for decorating the casino. Everyone, I'm sure you've been checking out roulette and slot machines. Now let's go listen to some live music over with DJ Rosa.
Let's do it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.